Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are back from our Season 5 mid-season break and we are here for the Japanese Grand Prix for round 10 of the championship at the Suzuka International Circuit. My name is James Hayde. I'm going to be taking you through the stream as always, and joining me in the comment box it is Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing great as always, really excited for the Japanese Grand Prix, one of my favourite tracks to both race and commentate on. We're going to be doing, I think, 27 laps around here, so pretty easy soft to medium strategy. I think, especially if you're starting inside the top 10, medium to soft is very, very viable.
I thought you were going to talk more there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I totally blanked out. I was just like listening in. I thought you were going to continue on. That's fine. Right, anyways, we are going to get into the preview of the action very soon indeed, but I just want to start off the stream with two things. First of all of us here within the sim racing community pay our thoughts and respects to the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, who sadly passed away at the age of 99 yesterday. And he was a stalwart of British life, and he transformed the royal family into what we know them are today. And I'm sure all of our thoughts are with Her Majesty the Queen and with the wider royal family, and what I'm sure is a really, really sad time for them. And the second thing that I want to come to on a more positive note, well done to Rachel Blackmore for winning the Grand National, the first female jockey to win the Grand National. And no matter what sport you are from, no matter what background you are from, Dan, it just comes to prove that male and females can perform at the same level.
Absolutely, it is pretty history that we have witnessed today with that victory. I didn't watch the Grand National, but it is really great to hear that news. It's been the first woman to ever win it.
Yeah, first woman to ever win it. Fantastic, fantastic stuff from Rachel, and all of our thoughts, of course, go to her. I'm sure she's going to be celebrating tonight, but there we are. M. Short leads the championship coming in tonight on 127 points, but right on his coattail is Montana in second with two back-to-back victories on 118 points in second. D. Daniel in third. Recently left LR has D. Daniel in third on 95, with Verstappen in fourth on 84. Jojo fifth on 67. Alpha Trix not racing tonight in sixth on 62. Justas in seventh on 56 in seventh, with Campbell eighth on 50. Lando ninth on 44, tied with Connor, rounding off the top 10. Neo in 11th on 43. Hardy 12th on 33. Rocco, Name Changer and Vaporizer separating the top 15. Kazizel, Kuhn Bly, Ewan, Toxic, Kooky Games and Chappellelli and Flick Gilbream are the only other drivers to have picked up points this season. And we have got a couple of name changes and a couple of new drivers, which we'll come on to in just a second. Sweet Crown, now known as REL_Router. And for anybody that is wondering who on earth REL are, I didn't even know that Yav had created a team, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm clueless as to why they've been signed. But there we are. That's just part and parcel of me and everyday life, I think. But I think for Sweet Crown, and I think for that team, they've got quite a few good drivers, and Router within Division 1 certainly going to be that.
Yeah, absolutely. These two both very, very talented drivers, and they're certainly going to try to take the league by storm. We are getting ready to go underway. Lovely to see 20 drivers in the lobby today, and we're about to get ready. Short qualifying, 18 minutes. I'm expecting qualifying to be, I'd say, low 25s. I think we'll see the pole time be.
Yeah, 5.8 kilometres and then 18 turns, 1:30.9 the lap record. The lap record holder around here, of course, Lewis Hamilton. I totally didn't get the track list up on the right-hand side just to see the track map because I don't have one with me. But it is the only figure of 8 circuit on the F1 calendar, and 18 turns, of course, awaiting these drivers out on track. The Degners, the Hairpin, Spoon Curve, 130R, Casio Triangle, you name it, you're going to see it here tonight in Division 1 for League of Europe. And of course myself and Daniel Field, I'll take you through the action here tonight for what promises to be a very, very good night's worth of racing. M. Short leading the way on 127 points. Montana only 9 points behind though, Dan. And Montana's recent form, he's had 2 wins. M. Short has been very consistent. Has Montana reached that phase now where he's got back-to-back victories on his back, essentially, and he's got 3 wins this season? Is he now in prime spot to take the championship lead tonight?
I do think he really has kicked into gear. M. Short, he still does have the performances in him. He did pick up a podium last time out in Singapore, and also a 4th position, I believe, in front. So he's still has that drive about him to try and take the fight with Montana, but he really needs to pick up a win. Montana has just kind of clicked it. Everything's clicked for him, and I'm trying to think, last time we came to Japan, I might actually just quickly find that one, but I believe Montana probably did pretty damn well in that regard. Hang on, just bear with me here, because I'm a little bit slow. Right, we did Japan round 14, and what do you know, Montana ended up winning that race. Connor came in second. M-Shot wasn't in. Wait, I don't think M-Shot even started that race. Oh no, he came 15th.
And if that's anything to go by, then Montana will probably win around here. It is beautiful blue skies then as we come out on track. Justas and Montana, the two NSX boys, are first out on track. Lando just in behind along with Toxic and D. Daniel, the first out on track. As Justas now comes through the slithering snake section, as I called this in the 24 hours of Formula 1. Of course, it is known as the Senna S's around here, through turn 6 and then through Dunlop Curve at turn 7, of course, where Jules Bianchi famously had that horrible incident which inevitably cost his life just 10 months later after that. And of course we have to think about Jules as we come to this circuit. That incident, of course, in a real wild condition race, of course full wet conditions it was. I think there was a typhoon in the area as well at the time, but we have to remember about Jules because he was one of the most sincere drivers probably to ever grace a Formula 1 grid.
Yeah, there was no doubt that he was destined for Ferrari. See, I do actually remember for my GCSE English speaking, I wrote my speech was based around sort of safety in Formula 1. I did bring up Jules Bianchi. It was a really hard speech to write, and we'll all remember him in our hearts. But Justas just crossed through probably the most famous corner on this circuit, 130R, the flat-out left-hander. It'll be audacious to see if any drivers are going to make moves there, but Justas just about to start up on his lap here.
Yeah, Justas now coming across the line, 5.8 kilometre circuit now awaiting the drivers out on track. Just ignore the yellow flags in Sector 3, it's looking like a bit of a car park as we come now down in towards turn 1 with Justas through turn 1 and then in towards turn 2. Very nicely on the apex there. Expect lap times here to be very close in qualifying between the drivers. He now flings the car through 3, 4, 5 and then through the top of the hill at turn 6. Now runs down into a bit of a dip and then through Dunlop Curve once again, coming through turn 7 and towards Degda 1 at the end of the first sector. And this is looking like a good first sector from Justas. 30.8 through the first sector, just ran out wide through Degda 1, gets up the car locked up in towards Degda 2, and now up the hairpin, of course, where Kvyat went off in 2014. Had that really horrible incident where he just caught the grass where it was wet in qualifying. Now through the hairpin, and now Justas now coming through. There are two actually layouts to this track. There's the MotoGP track where it just goes off in that little chicane, and then there's the Grand Prix track which we're here with tonight. As he now rolls the car coming through in towards Spoon to Justas now through turn 13 on the run up towards 130R at turn 14. It's been a very consistent lap, I think, from the Lithuanian so far. We'll see his middle sector. He's got very little fuel in that car as well, about 20% I would say of EOS left in terms of the overtake mode, I should say. So now comes through in towards the final couple of corners, and now through the Casio Triangle, and then through the final corner. Got rid of that bump, of course, through turn 18, and now coming across the line, and Justas sets a 1:25.5 to pick it off tonight. Montana, though, coming around the final corner. Is he going to go quicker than Justas? Of course he is. 25.4.
Yeah, really respectable lap time coming out there. Lando just crossed the line, 25.9. He's quite far off the pace at the moment. I'm just trying to find if I can catch someone towards the end of their run. I believe that Connor is actually just about to finish.
Oh, he's in the pit.
And he's into the pit lane. So there's an Alfa Romeo coming up next. It's Zhao Zhao. He's also in the pit lane. I might as well just stop talking about it. What about Neo? Neo's going to complete this lap. He's come out the final corner here. Slowest of them all. M Short, though. He could be one to watch out for in this race. Crossing the line now. D. Daniel's gone third, but M Short goes to the top. Just about, that's 100th quicker than Montana. Almost 200th.
Yeah, 1800ths of a second to be exact. Short on top, Montana second, Justas in third. Wouter came across the line to go into 11th. Then Campbell went up there into 10th as well. Kumblai goes into 8th. Good lap time from him. You'll Dream as well across the line to go into 6th with a 1:25.7. Hardy and Chapelletti coming across the line. Hardy across the line, invalidated on 26.6. Chapelletti, though, coming through the first sector. Appropriately, he's got his teammate just in front of him out on track, and that being Verstappen. In fact, no, that's my colour blindness now coming in. Verstappen is in a Renault, Chapelletti is in an AlphaTauri, so I've just made a complete mess up of that, as now Verstappen gets out of the way, and Chapelletti nearly goes spinning into the back of him, in fact. And Verstappen, I don't think Chapelletti would be happy with that, to be honest.
No, he was pretty much in front of him throughout the entirety of the first sector. I don't think Verstappen had too many opportunities to get out of the way. This is a track where it's really difficult to actually get out of the way of someone and make space for another driver. But yeah, Chapelletti going to be really annoyed with that one, I would say. Hardy not pushing on his left as he invalidated. Name changer doesn't look like he's going too quick through the first sector split, so it seems like the first wave of laps seem to be done here. Chapelletti could go for another lap, but given the fact that he's still using more overtake, I wouldn't expect him to really be trying to push here. Yeah, I think he'll probably come into the pit lane at the end of this lap, but the entire field spread with 12 minutes to go, it's only 6 tenths, or 7 tenths, pretty much.
Yeah, 7 tenths of a second between M Short and Neo. McLaren at the top, McLaren at the bottom, appropriately here in qualifying with 6 minutes gone. 1/3 of qualifying done. I'm Short on top, Montana second, and Justas in third, Verstappen in fourth, Daniel in fifth, Yildirim in sixth, Iwan seventh, with Kumbla in eighth, Cougar Games in ninth, Campbell round off the top 10, Lando, Ruta, and Neo. Ruta, of course, being Sweet Crown, if you are just tuning in. A few name changes to everyone on the track tonight. Iwan, of course, known as VER Iwan, I think, as well, and Rel Rocco. I wonder who that is. Any guesses? Rocco Reggie for real, has to be.
Yeah, I believe Iwan's actually left VER, so that's why he's running under a new account, or maybe it's just his normal account, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I'm not too sure who this Rocco kid is joining in the league, but it is actually risky for Rocco to join this REL team, because he was a part of the well-established, especially in League of Europe, the NSX team. They're currently 2 and 3 on circuit at the moment, and it is a big risk joining a new team like this, but maybe he's just got confidence in the structure of it. He's certainly going to be one of the top drivers in that team as well, so he's going to have high hopes, I'd say, for this one. I believe he's going to be the next driver to actually begin up on a lap, so we should probably run on board with him, as it's looking like it's getting a little bit cloudy overhead.
Yeah, it is. Toxic's coming through the middle sector, actually, on a lap, coming through Spoon. He's actually just coming through turn 13 now, on the run down the hill. There is a car just in front of him out on track, which is the Williams, which leads me to believe it is probably Kuka Games out on track just in front of him, hoping to try and get a lap. It's a purple middle sector from Toxic, probably best in terms of his personal best rather than the quickest lap. It's Justas, in fact, in front of him out on a out lap at the minute. Toxic now through the final couple of corners, fighting the car now, coming down toward the line, comes across the line, and he goes into 8th. A good lap from here. I've spotted Connor as well on a lap in behind, and Connor now coming through the final couple of corners. Is the Brit going to put it up towards M Short? I think this is top. M Short now beaten by Connor. A 1:25.3 makes a statement early on, and with the cloud conditions beginning to come over the track, it is going to bring things into play possibly. Rocco's just coming in towards the hairpin now as well, but Connor out on top, M Short in second, Montana in third, and Rocco not looking too bad through his first sector. Again, another driver that is running very low fuel out on track, now coming through Spoon, and with the sun glaring in the eye there at turn 13, now runs down the hill. Of course, there are track limits penalties for these guys out on track, which we'll come on to in just a second, but Rocco now coming through to the end of the middle sector, and a 109.4. He's there or thereabouts in terms of Toxic's lap time at this stage, I would say, as now Rocco comes in towards the Casio Triangle through 16. Fights the car through 17. Kumbla, I think, just starting up a lap in front of him. Now comes across the line, and Rocco goes to 5th. Good lap time by Rocco.
Oh, and the rain has just begun. Rain is beginning to stream down the sky, and Rocco really getting him right at the end to start that lap. But now, given how much cloud has formed overhead, yeah, rain is beginning to fall. You could also see it reflecting off of the halos of the cars. So this might be our qualifying grid set in stone, but it might not be over, because Montana still could find some time on this lap. We'll see him crossing through a sector split. He's lost time in the second sector due to that rain, and it's going to be tricky for him to actually make up any time in this final sector. We'll see him coming through the Casio Triangle now and up towards the final corner. He's going to be finishing up in this lap. He might have found some time. He's going to cross the line. He doesn't improve.
and he doesn't improve. But what does that do to the likes of Chapelletti? Name Changer just started up on a lap. Hardy through the first sector as well has just started up on a lap. Are there going to be any improvements throughout the field? Justas is up through the first sector, well, 400s down, in fact, through the first sector, as Verstappen now is 900s down, coming through the Casio Triangle. We'll see if he's going to improve. He's not going to improve. He slides the car coming out. I think majority of the guys are actually coming back into the pit lane. They feel that there's going to be no more running here in qualifying. Toxic retires as well, coming into the pit lane. Name Changer out on lap. Chapelletti out on a lap as well, and Chapelletti with a 1:10.3. You may as well just get an experienced lap in, to be honest, and keep it invalidated, as now he comes in towards turn 16. Let's see what Chapelletti can do. The Shap out on track, invalidates through turn 17. Absolutely typical, and he's into the wall. And how on earth has that car not gone screaming off into the wall, and crashes coming into the pit lane as well. Hardy now coming through the final couple of corners, and Hardy comes across the line. Name Change back into the pit lane. Hardy comes across the line. He gets a lap in 1:27.8, but I've got to be honest, that's the end of the qualifying. Connor's out on top, M. George second, and Montana in third, because I don't think we're going to see any improvements now.
I wouldn't be surprised if the division admin, which I believe is Verstappen, he's the one that dictates everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if he calls to possibly retire in the pit lane, so we could just get underway quicker. There's a couple guys still out on circuit. Neo is in the third sector, and then Hardy's just coming through sector 1. So we will be probably out just for a little bit longer. But yeah, qualifying, no one's going to be able to put in another lap. No one's going to improve. Really, I think Hardy just wanted to finish his lap to get some track position over Chapelletti and Name Changer. Speaking of Hardy, well, he's just spun the car. I don't blame him, because intermediate conditions on a wet circuit is very difficult. I don't think anyone would blame him if he wanted to retire on circuit here.
Yeah, Montana seemingly complaining, I think, in Discord, possibly with the rain coming out on his lap. He was a 10th up coming through the first sector. He was 500th up coming through the middle sector, and then that time all ebbed away coming through the Casio Triangle. Hardy's still out there on a lap. He's the only man actually out on track. At least we're getting a bit of track time from Hardy out on track. Montana's still yet to retire in the pit lane as well. Just waiting for two drivers possibly to retire the session. This could be the quickest Division 1 race of the season so far, as DRS has now been disabled. Hardy, you may as well just retire it out on track, and he has. Yeah. There we are, right on time. He knew what I was going to say there. The channeling energy between us and the commentary box and the drivers out on track. That then is the end of qualifying, and we've only been at it for 12 minutes. Connor out on top from M. Short in second, Montana in third, with Zhao Zhao in fourth. Top four actually on the set of softs, all separated by just over a tenth of a sec, or just under a tenth of a second, and a tenth and a half separating the top six, with Rocco and Justas in there in fifth and sixth. Verstappen in 7th, Daniel 8th, Yildirim in 9th, with Iwan rounding off the top 10. Toxic, Kuhnblai, Kuki Games, Lando, and Campbell round off the top 15, just over 5/10 of a second separating. Ruta, Neo, and Hardy also got lap times in. Name Changer and Chapelletti didn't. They both invalidated, and they don't get any times in. And apparently, I've heard on the grapevine that Name Changer apparently was in the sauna before coming into this race. A weird preparation from our Finn.
Well, I hope he's feeling relaxed for this race. Maybe he can make up some positions. Name Changer's he's a bit of a memer. I do know that. So possibly he's done it for just the memes. But yeah, hopefully maybe that's enlightened him somewhat. And I'm just looking further up in the Discord. Zhao Zhao was actually apologising to Montana, so maybe Montana was complaining about Zhao Zhao possibly blocking him on his lap, which could have been for pole. But yeah, I guess stewards might need to be a little bit aware, especially in qualifying around here. So yeah, it's just unlucky, I'd say, at the end of the day.
Yeah, Division 2 and Division 5, by the way, are also going to be up after this. Division 3 and 4 also live alongside us here. But I've heard, actually, Division 2 could be starting a little bit late, because Division 3 started late, and Aidan Carter, who's the commentator, along with J. Cole tonight, Dakar not making it. Both of them, I think, are the commentary team, and they're racing in Division 3, so Division 2 might be held up maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It has to remain to be seen if they get done before 8:10. But out on track, beautiful blue skies here. Let's hope that this is going to be the sake of it, the sake of the race for the rest of this race, and now we're on the formation lap, and 10 drivers, of course. The top 10 qualifying on a set of soft compound tyres. Everyone else have got a free choice of tyre, and noticeably Schiaparelli going to try a really aggressive one-stop strategy. I think he's on a set of hard compound tyres. Now short term they're not going to be up to temperature at all, I don't think, out on track, but Schiaparelli on a set of hards, onto a set of softs possibly towards the end of the race, he could get, what, 19, 20 laps, I would say, out of those tyres?
Yeah, he could go probably a bit longer than that, I would actually say, but the hard strategy can work. On PC last night in LOE, Black Panther was on a set of hard tyres, and he was right up the order for quite some time until he actually spun it into the pit lane. He ended up finishing 9th in that race, so regardless of spinning into the pit lane and losing all that time, he actually did have an alright finish considering where he started, so yeah. Oh, by the way, I finished 11th in that race, so I actually picked up more than 1 point, so that's just my little moment of fame that I can have, just to flex on everyone, but yeah. I was
gonna ask how well you got on last night, but you've already proven it for us.
It was actually a brilliant race. Me and Black Panther, what a battle we had. So I think I should stop stroking my own ego though, and we can get focused for the race in a moment.
I'm glad you didn't say something else, but there we are. Spag in the chat saying Chap Strat is weird, and yeah, I would agree with that. It is quite weird, I've got to say, out on track, on a set of hards, possibly going for a set of soft sides, I would say. Does he see something that we don't in the commentary box? Could that be rain later on in the race where he would go on to and carry on to those tyres before it gets wet? Remains to be seen. We're into the Casio Triangle section now, through the final corners out on track. The traffic jam, of course, will come through the final couple of corners, and Connor out on top. He ran into the gravel, actually, just coming out of Deck 1, I think it was, out on track, or Deck 2, and he picked up a little bit of gravel on those tyres. Obviously gone now, but that will not set him the run down in towards turn 1 that greatly at all. M Short in behind him as well, with Montana in third. We are just moments away from getting underway, but Dan, I'll come across to you finally. Who's your top 3?
My top 3, this is going to be close, but I'm saying Montana, M Short, Rocco. Why not?
Interesting, very interesting indeed. We see Schiaparelli, and we see predict the pit stop strategy come up on the bottom middle of the screen. This game likes to throw weird things, but now 5 red lights are about to go out here. We're back from the mid-season break. And it's lights out and away we go. M Short gets a very good start, and he's going to have the run on Connor, surely down in towards turn 1. Jao's got a really quick start as well, and now we could see it happen immediately, as now Connor tries to go on the outside, gets caught on the outside curb, and Jao's through, and M Short's through into the lead of the race. So the McLaren is through, the Alfa Romeo is through, and now Connor drops down to third, and he's actually going to try and go all the way around the outside on Jao. Kuka Games and E1 battling further down the field as well. Montana in fourth, Rocco right on the back of him, coming up through the Dunlop curve for the first time, but it's M Short who leads by 4/10 of a second, and that is a great start from the McLaren. But he's got Jao, who's the king of the starts here in League of Europe Division 1. He's in second, Connor in third. A really good opening to that lap. Verstappen right on the back of D. Daniel further down the field, is now further up the field. Montana looks to the inside of Connor to the NSX boys, now going side by side into the hairpin racing point against the Red Bull, and the Red Bull gets the traction on the zone, and he now comes through, and he's still in P3 for now. Jao chasing down M Short as we approach Spoon for the first time.
It's been the perfect start for M Short. Connor dropping down 2 positions as well, and he's losing time to Jao and M Short in front of him, as Verstappen right onto the back of D. Daniel could try and get him on the exit of Spoon Curb, and maybe on the run up towards 130. He's going to back off here. He's not going to use any of his overtake to get round this time by, but Volta in his first race with REL, he's made a position, as has Neo on E1. I wonder if E1's got a bit of damage, because he's managed to drop a number of positions, and he has got quite a bit of wing damage, and I'd expect him to pull into the pit lane here.
And we've got a graphic switch on the left-hand side, typical of Codemasters, but Jao, I can tell you, is right on the back of M Short for the lead of the race. It's about 0.2 of a second. Connor nearly goes barreling in towards turn 1 and behind him, but M Short leads the way. Jao in second, Connor third, Montana fourth, Rocco fifth, Justas in sixth. The whole field, of course, will be separated by about 10 seconds, I would say. There's obviously E1 with that from wing damage into the pit lane. Rocco looks like he's struggling to an extent as well. He dropped off the back of Montana. It's about 0.8 of a second at this stage, but it might just lead me to believe that there might be a little bit bit of damage on that car because he is dropping back from Montana in front as we now see the correct standings come up on the left-hand side of the screen. Jajo, though, right on the back of M Short, about 4/10 away, running up the hill into the hairpin. Connor right on the back of him as well. Montana in there in 4th, Rocco 5th, Justas in 6th, D Daniel in 7th, Verstappen and Nate, Yulbream in 9th, Toxic round off the top 10, and right on the back of him, in fact, is Kooky Games, who's coming under pressure from Lando slightly as well. So the Mercedes against the Williams for 11th position out on track, and these are for the final couple of points out on track here in Liga Root, because of course the top 12 get awarded the points. We see Jajo right on the back of M Short once again, 3/10 of a second, running up in toward 130 off for the second time, not for the third time out on track. The DRS of course will be enabled this lap around, and it will not be in use until they get across the start finish line for the 4th time, as M Short will now come across the line to start what will be lap 3. Jajo will use up a bit of overtake mode to try and close up that gap, and it's 3/10 of a second as we come across the line.
Yeah, only one DRS straight on this circuit, and that is on the run-up towards turn number 1, so Zhao Zhao's got to wait quite a bit until he gets his fixing of it. In the dirty air, it's going to be really difficult for him to actually keep with them short in this first sector. We'd expect probably the Brit to jump up just a little bit of time ahead of his rival, and you can just see how they're slowly navigating through this set of corners. Seems like one of the closest gaps on circuit at the moment was between D Daniel and Verstappen, as D Daniel beginning to break away from the Dutchman just from his fellow countryman. Actually, there's a little bit of a gap forming between himself and Justas. Seems like he's been able to just patch that up ever so slightly. But the train staying nice and orderly, aside from Ewan, who's way back down the order. He's gone onto a set of medium tyres. We just got to wait until the DRS train breaks out, I suppose.
Yeah, DRS train is very difficult to break around here in Japan, and of course the whole field is separated by that DRS train, but I have a feeling that the top 4 will begin to break away, and Rocco and Justas will now drop back about a second, 1.2 seconds, something like that within the next couple of laps, so that could be something that is interesting to know. Connor, in the meantime, using up this overtake mode to try and look on the back of Jajo. He's got to wait until the DRS detection point. He might not wait until the DRS detection point. Tries to go all the way around the outside. Jajo forced to the inside line. Connor all the way around the outside through the Casio triangle. This is impossible to pull off. Hand of rage from the Red Bull man out on track, but now the Brit cuts back into the slipstream of the day, and it's lap 4. M Short leads, but for how long? Jajo was absolutely flying him down in towards turn 1. Connor right on the back as well, but they stay in tandem. No, they don't. Connor dabs it down the inside. Very, very close to a little bit of front wing damage there. Now Montana will sweep down the inside line. He doesn't get the move done. Connor stays in 3rd, and literally what I said between Rocco and Justas, that hasn't came true, but I'll tell you what has came true. Top 2 now, a broken DRS to Connor, and Connor once again with that lunge down the inside, really, really going for an aggressive move on Jajo. It didn't pay off, and that could have cost him.
Good hard racing between. Unfortunately for Connor, though, he's sacrificed a lot of time to try and make that move stick, and he's just about stuck within the DRS range. He's only 9/10 of a second off Zhao Zhao. That gap is seemingly coming down, but Zhao Zhao could have now a clean advantage coming towards turn number 1. That attack from Connor probably actually helped out M Short more than it did himself, because Zhao would be able to be close enough to make an assault in towards the first corner on the run-up towards 130 odd. Gap between the two leaders at the moment is just about 4/10 of a second, just over, as Zhao Zhao down the straight. He's got a lot more ERS to utilise in towards turn number 1 than I'm sure. He's got to get a good run out the final corner into the braking zone of the Casio triangle. We'll see as he's getting very slidey, and he's probably lost quite a bit of time there, and yeah, he's 6/10 of a second back, and now Connor could actually be on his rear. He's used up a lot of his overtake, as well as Connor Short just being able to well, keep it comfortable at the moment.
Yeah, M Short, I think, is pretty much putting these guys into a bit of a false sense of hope in behind, with Jajo and Connor 2nd and 3rd, and now because of Connor's ERS usage, I should say, out on track, he lost essentially a little bit of time to Jajo as a result, and now M Short can control this race from the front. But crucial that Jajo has got 20% more ERS at this stage compared to M Short, who was ahead of him by 5/10 of a second out on track. Everyone has stayed in position onto lap 5 out of 27 here in Japan, and M Short leads from Jajo in 2nd, Connor in 3rd, Montana 4th, Rocco in 5th. I see Spag in the chat, by the way, predicting Verstappen possibly for the win. Well, Verstappen has been on the back of D Daniel. D Daniel, of course, recently leaving Leonis Racing, and Leonis Racing, of course, have been dominating the EML fixture, what I normally commentate on every month on a Wednesday. But Verstappen on the back of D Daniel, and Justas on the back of Rocco, it seems, as well.
Yeah, Rocco just losing a little bit of touch to Montana in front of him. The gap is 7/10 of a second actually, so I think Justas might get a move on, maybe try and overtake Rocco in towards turn number 1. He's gaining on him quite heavily in towards 130R, and he's improving quite a lot on his fastest lap. Maybe if he's brave enough to got the inside in towards the Casio Triangle. He's not brave enough, he's going to hang back for the time being, pretty much cutting actually over the first part of the corner, but now onto the back of Rocco. He's trying to hold it defensive already to the inside line. Here comes Justas though, he's going to have to go around the outside line. He's going to have a slipstream of Montana on the run up towards the first corner, and he got the move done in towards turn number 1 before the braking zone even comes. Rocco losing out on that position. Justas with the move into 5th position there.
Yeah, and see Name Changer as well further down the field. Name Changer, he might have been in the sauna before the race. Well, he's just overtaken Hardy for 17th position, out on track, and it's a good move there by the Finn, sailing all the way down the inside, pretty much on the straight. He is through in the Ferrari, and he's up into 17th position. Ewan trying to make good ground out on track. He's only gained a second since coming into the pits after that front wing change. 24.7 seconds is the gap between Chapelletti out on track, and it's something like, I think, 27 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, for pit stop. Maybe less than that. I've probably just exaggerated that completely, but M Short leading the way, Zhao Zhao in second, Connor in third. Connor's just dropped off the back. He's got 20% of ERS, and that is really costing him out on track because he hasn't got enough overtake mode to try and catch up to the back of Zhao Zhao and M Short, while Zhao Zhao and M Short have got about 50 to 70% worth of ERS on both their cars, and that is crucial, I think, for them to trying to pull away in a bit of a slipstream fest running down in towards the next lap out on track. Ricciardo coming in to the comment section and saying, let's go Zhao Zhao. Yeah, Zhao Zhao really performing well. The king of the start, as I like to call him now in Division 1, and he certainly made sure of that as he now comes through the Casio Triangle right on the back of M Short. But we have seen it before with Zhao Zhao. He does not like to go for these moves unless he wants to go for a move now, as Montana is into the pit lane to probably put on a set of hards to the end of the race.
Yeah, it's a very early stop coming out from Montana there as a Name Changer somehow putting in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Probably that slipstream, but the hard tires going on to Montana. You can make soft to medium work by my understanding, so he's probably just trying to undercut everyone else. These guys are going to look to go a little bit longer, I would say. About 15, 16, maybe even 17 laps on a set of the medium compounder tyres, so it would have been too early for the pit stop, but that creates a big void in between the positions 3rd and 4th, because now it's 0.8 of a second between Justas and Connor. It would have been a problem for Justas if Rocco hadn't slipped off the back of him, but he's almost out of range of himself, so it seems like the pack just seemingly getting a little bit more spread out as on. I assume that just the raw pace of the drivers kind of does kick in at this point, but Lando onto the back of Cookie Games, using up some of his overtake, maybe wants to try and attack him in towards Spoon Curve. It's very difficult to actually make a move stick through there, and he's going to hang back, not going to try anything risky, and yeah, just stay in 11th position. Zhao Zhao is a lot closer though.
He is a lot closer, 0.2 of a second now, coming in towards 130R. He might feel that this is his push time. This is his time to go. He might try and put M Short into a bit of a mistake. If I was these two, I'd come into the pit lane, because Montana's already caught 1.3 seconds on these guys. Perfect from Zhao Zhao. He's into the pit lane. That's exactly what he should have done. He gets the car locked up, but luckily doesn't overspeed into the pit lane. On will go a set of hard compounder tyres. Montana, for reference, is just coming through 130R, so it could be quite close. Has Montana gained enough on Zhao Zhao, and that, if that's the case, significantly, Montana will probably be in the lead of the race. He's now coming out of the pit stops pretty much now, Zhao Zhao. Montana is halfway down the straight. He's now coming into camera shot. There he is on the right-hand side. It's going to be extraordinarily close on pit lane exit, and Montana is ahead. Montana is ahead. The overcut around this track is so potent as Toxic has spun coming through the centre S as he's got that car recovered and he's got back on the move once again. But Montana ahead of Zhao Zhao, and that will mean Montana will be in the net race lead.
Yeah, it was all about that outlap coming out from Montana there. He nailed that one there, and he's really been the class of the field at the moment with that lap, and that has put him into a position where pretty much comfortably in a net race lead. Probably I'm sure would have actually been able to cover off Montana if he pitted on that lap, but now he's going to lose out a whole bunch of time because these softs, he's probably pretty worn out at the moment. 7 laps is very tough to do, and you can see he is definitely coming to the pits this lap because he's using up all of his overtake. He went from about 40% to now 11%, so that guarantees that he's coming to the pit lane because you make it all up, and if he's not pitting, I'll just look very silly indeed. And there he is, pulling off to the right-hand side. Interestingly enough, staying out, Justas staying out, as is Rocco. These guys, I'd assume, are going to try for the medium strategy, as actually the pit window has opened.
M short on the mediums. M short on mediums. Yeah, M short on mediums coming out the pit lane. And this is really, really good to see M Short. Where's he going to come out in all of this? He's now at the end of the pit lane. He's behind Zhao Zhao for sure. I'll tell you now, he's behind Zhao Zhao for sure. Now he's back up to speed. Releases the pit limits a little bit late. It's side by side coming through turn 1, but Zhao Zhao is ahead of M Short. But M Short now, crucially, on a sort of medium compounder tyres, he's got to try and make his way through these guys out on track to try and get within. These mediums are going to be so fresh at this point in the race, but all those guys on the sort of hard compounder sides, they're going to have tyre wear advantage towards the end. And I think at Montana and Zhao Zhao's strategy now, with Connor and Justas still continuing on, Rocco dropping 1.6 seconds now behind Justas, Zhao Zhao and Montana's opportunity now is to hold up M Short as much as possible, keep him within that DRS train, and give Connor and Justas a bit of a look in, possibly for the race win.
Yeah, I think those guys just trying to really secure their strategy with the mediums by staying out. I'd assume that a couple of them will hit this lap by, because those tyres are going to be feeling very, very poor at this point. So I think we'll see maybe if Connor off to the right-hand side.
No.
He's going to stay out. One more. Justas is in. What about Rocco? Rocco's in. D. Daniel staying out, and Verstappen is in. So two drivers in. Oh, Rocco. 5-second time penalty for speeding the pit lane. Didn't get that one slowed down in time, but M Short onto the back of Zhao Zhao. He's actually going to go up the inside in towards the Casio triangle. Now trying to hold him around the outside. I have the inside line for the final corner here, but now on the exit, he's going to have the better traction on the fresher set of the medium compounder tyres. He's going to be ahead in this one, but how much longer is Zhao Zhao pushing him down the straightaway?
No way.
Try and send it around the outside into the first corner. M Short just coming out in front there, but wow, that was a defensive manoeuvre and a half from Zhao Zhao. But M Short, what a move from him, getting into a net P2 now.
And that's what those fresh mediums can do out on track. He's passed one, can he get past the other? And the other one being his nearest championship rival out on track, Montana, looking for three race wins in a row out on track here in Liga Group Division 1. M Short looking for his 4th race win out on track tonight, and both of them have got 3 to their name this season so far. Montana and M Short have been the class above the rest, but now we're about to see it. I thought it would be Montana and Alphatrix this season, if I've got to be honest. It's not. It's Montana and M Short, and now we are about to see a possible championship battle. This could be the defining race of the championship right here, right now.
Absolutely, this is for the deadlock. These two are both on 3 race wins, as you say, and it really is going to stamp down who is the more supreme driver this season so far. They've both been pretty damn consistent. Connor and D into the pit lane, but M Short, well, this is almost going to be a guaranteed move towards turn number 1. He's onto the back of him through Casio triangle. He's going to have to prioritise the exit here, but M Short, he's going to be trying it.
I don't think he's got the run, because he used 4th gear coming through the Casio triangle. That's what's cost him, I think, running down the straight. He's not going to get Montana down the straight here, and M Short's going to have to sit him behind. That 4th gear cost him at that point in the race, and let Zhao Zhao catch up. Justas is not too far off, and Connor has just joined into the fray coming out of the pit lane as well. He's in 15th position, but he's in net P5. Verstappen and Yildirim are fresh out of the pit lane as well, and Yildirim now is under pressure from Verstappen as Toxic is through on Hardy. I think Hardy has spun coming through the Dunlop curve, and the Mercedes is now round through the Dunlop curve. He's going to rejoin track very soon. 10-second time, but that is absolutely ridiculous. What a joke that is to whoever has spawned that out on track in terms of Codemasters. Zhao Zhao right on the back there with M Short, possibly for a net P2. Montana just beginning to edge away slightly on the run up toward the hairpin, but now on lap 11 out of 27. Cookie Games leads Lando 2nd, Campbell in 3rd, and well, Hardy, that 10-second time penalty, absolute joke.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets that one removed. Regardless, he's not going to be happy in this one. But there's pretty much no hope of him unless it's a safety car and he can make some heroic drive in throughout the fielders.
Justas, I think, made a mistake coming out of the Casio triangle, Sorry, through Spoon. Lando, by the way, is through on Kuka Games for the race lead, and Kuka Games now under pressure from Campbell. We're still on board with this train, though. Connor right on the back. Schiaparelli now into the pit lane, going to go for an aggressive medium strategy, it seems. The German out on track as now M. Short tries again at Montana, and this time he's going to get it done without the use of ERS. Running down the street, he's got 5% left in that car. The M. Short, the championship leader, is through on his nearest championship rival, and he's through and he's into the net lead of the race, and now he's on fresh medium. Surely he's going to pull away.
He's got to. He's going to have to get all he can. These tyres won't last forever, and they won't have that advantage that they do at the moment for the remaining of the race. Every lap that goes by, those hard tyres are going to get better in comparison to the medium tyres, but at this point he's just got to extend that gap as much as he can, drop Montana, and hope that the drivers behind will do some fighting. Justas, you'd expect, will be trying to apply pressure to Zhao Zhao and Montana, because when the race end comes, these guys will be struggling in the comparison, so they want to have that track position as soon as possible. Yeah, in saying that though, Montana is keeping with M. Short. We'll see if he can actually maybe make some time up on his rival. If he's going to lose everything, it's just the difference in traction on the tyres. He's lost quite a bit. In saying that, he's actually gaining on M. Short.
He is getting on them Short. Kuka Games as well, getting on Lando. This is for the race lead. Running now across the line. Justas in the meantime, right on the back of Zhao Zhao, running in towards 130. Looks, and Zhao Zhao looks on Montana, in fact. Tries to go down the inside line. Doesn't get quite the move done. M. Short has now pulled away enough to hold the line. Running down in towards someone. But Zhao Zhao now is going to attack at Montana, the Dane. Right on the back of the Swiss. These guys, of course, may be really fierce rivals here out on track. But honestly, these two know how to battle and they know how to fight, and Zhao Zhao is right on the back of Montana. He might be on fresher hards by a lap, Zhao Zhao, but I tell you what, he is really putting in the effort. But now he just made a mistake there slightly. Justas and now Connor right on the back. Rocco not entirely out of this either. Penalties, by the way, racking up at the halfway stage. Kuka Games with 3, Name Changer with 3, Toxic with 3, Rocco with 5, Schiaparelli with 3, Hardy with 16. That'll be down to 6 seconds, I'm sure, because of that 10-second penalty for him running wide through Dunlop Curve. But Montana now losing time to M. Short. M. Short, though, not really gapping away from Montana. It's 8.5 tenths of a second. I would say M. Short's, gaining 3 tenths a lap, if that?
Maybe even a bit less than that. Actually, no, 3 tenths is pretty accurate. In saying that, he's lost quite a bit of time through Spoon Curve, has Montana, but he just seems to be a bit more planted on the exits. It might be something to do with his setup. I don't know what it would be, but he just seems to be able to get the throttle down a little bit more early than M. Short. Through the low speed corners, I'd say, is where he loses time in the traction zones.
Yes, nearly into the back of Zhao Zhao, coming into the Casio Triangle. Very, very lucky not to pick up any front wing damage. Pretty much front wing on rear wing, and look at Justas now closing in on Zhao Zhao. Don't think he's going to run down in towards turn 1 on him, and he's not, and the Lithuanian stays in P12 for now. Schiaparelli bangs in the new fastest lap of the race with the 1:28.3 out on track. Halfway stage reached. It's Lando out on top. Kuka Games in second. Campbell in third. Neil, though, beginning to push on Kumbli for fourth.
Yep, this train and medium runners at the front of the field, you cannot count them out. Their pit stop window is approaching very, very shortly. I did the medium stuff last night, and I went to about lap 17, I think, on the same set of mediums. Granted, there was a safety car, which did help me, but yeah, these guys can go a little bit longer if they want to go on the softs. Here comes Neo, trying to go around the outside in towards Spoon Curve. He's going to have the inside line of contact. Vettel Verstappen-esque in 2018, and well, Neo coming up short there, and unfortunately, he has lost that car. It might have been a bit for him to go for this end into Spoon Curve, but I think he must have been entitled to some level of space. Regardless of that, he's lost all that time, and now he's got Toxic on the back of him.
He has got Toxic on the back of him, and as you say, that was Vettel Verstappen-esque of 2018 in Japan. Toxic now right on the back of him. Sends a little bit of hint of desperation, if I've got to be honest, from the German there as well. But the Brit now trying to force his way through, round the outside. Toxic is through into 7th position. Now through on Neil. Neil, though, is going to have a run on him. He hasn't got DRS, but he could still have a run on Toxic. Toxic, in fact, just beginning to become a minute shadow in the foreground of Short and Toxic in 7th for now. Zhao Zhao right on the back of Montana as well. Yulbream getting into contention on the back of Rocco for this race win. and it is beginning to heat up out on track. Lap 15, Lando leads, Cookie Games second, Campbell in third. If you are just tuning in at this point, you're seeing Ewan go past on Hardy. Hardy struggling, of course, on that worn set of mediums. After that spin through Dunlop curve, Ewan now through, and he's into 19th position ahead of the Mercedes. These two drivers, of course, still have to pit. Ewan for second time, Hardy for first time out on track. That really hasn't been Hardy's race since that spin, but Ewan through and he's up into 19th position. Cookie Games, though, looks like he might be on an in-lap because he is beginning to close in on the back of Lando.
Yeah, he's pushing quite a bit onto the back of the Mercedes car. Lap 15 very early to pit, and he's very aggressive on the throttle. Justas looking like he's right up to the back of Zhao, losing quite a bit of time actually to Montana in front of him, and this could just be the key that Justas has been looking for the last couple of laps to try and put the pressure on. He's using his overtake in a position he shouldn't be using it. He's using it on the run up towards 130R, which is just not smart from him there, as they're all into the pits at the front.
Yeah, Wuta stays out in fact.
Oh, Kumblai's got damage. He's gone into the back of Campbell there, I think, and he's got wing damage, and he's having to replace that front wing on that 74 car. Sorry to just briefly cut in there, but really unfortunate for Kumblai. He's just not had the best season so far, has he?
No, he really hasn't, and that just tops it all off, I'm afraid, for Kumblai. He's now down in 17th position, and so unfortunate for him, he got caught up in that collision, of course, with Neo. Neo, of course, into the pit lane as well, and now both of them right down at the back of the field and coming out the pit lane dead out the back end. It is Ruta who leads the way though. Name change a second, Toxic in third. We are on board though with Montana, and he is beginning to get onto the back of M-Short once again. 7/10 of a second, he's just beginning to ebb away at that gap out on track, and I would suggest possibly M-Short's tyres might not be in the greatest condition out on track because Montana is gaining. Are we beginning to see the hards begin to switch to be the quicker the quicker tyre rather than the set of mediums in front of him?
I think they might. I think at this point they're probably still just a slight bit quicker, those medium tyres. They gain about 5% a lap on the wear, so he'll be on 30% at this point. And they say Montana, you get around about 4, I think, so 32% for Montana. So the mediums should still be in a better condition at this point. Of course, that will be overtaken very, very shortly as just the rest of the top 3 coming into the pit lane. Now turns the net race lead from short into the actual race lead, but I also think that DRS...
Where's Connor came from? Connor has just gone past Justas, sorry, down the inside line in towards turn 1. He said Justas there. Connor in 4th, now on Justas. Sorry to cut in, Dan, but I just got completely caught out of surprise. Connor now through and he's into 4th. Justas must have made a mistake out on track for that to happen, and now Connor really landing himself within a good blow of trying to take this win.
Yeah, he's in a pretty strong position here. He's got fresher tyres on that car as well than his rivals. He's 2 laps fresher than M-Short at the front of the field, so he's going to be in the best position tyre-wise. So I definitely think Connor could be a late shout. I'm just seeing the chat. M-Short is trying to one-stop this, and I don't know if he's saving tyres at this moment. 7 laps on the medium tyres. They're not going to be at their best, but I think those hard tyres are probably... we're at the crossover point where I'd say the hard tyres are beginning to get a little bit quicker than those mediums, so it could be a little bit of a worry for M-Short, but around Japan, very, very tricky to overtake.
Here comes Connor on the back of Jajo on the run towards 130R. Is he going to change that? And now Connor right on the back of Jajo. He's going to launch an attack into the Casio triangle. Tries to go all the way around the outside. This will be bold and brave from Connor. On the inside line, forces Jajo out wide. Brilliant stuff by Connor. That is an absolute sensational move. And that's why I was just about to say M-Short needs to get a move on out in front, because Connor's on 2 lap fresher tyres than M-Short. He's got about 10% tyre wear in advantage compared to M-Short in the lead. Connor now through into 3rd. Connor is carving his way through the field like knife through butter. Connor through and he's into 3rd. Brilliant move on Jojo.
4 laps fresher tyres than Montana as well has Connor got, so he's going to be in a very advantageous position.
Verstappen goes around the outside to the S section. What a move that is, and now Yulbring's going to try and get the run back in towards Sector 1. It's just kicked off here in Japan. Verstappen is through and he's into 7. Just got on board with the end of that. I saw them going side by side. I think Yulbring made a slight mistake, but Verstappen has just centred around the outside. Do you remember Schiaparelli from last season? 3-way going around the outside of that corner. That's what Verstappen's just done. Only one driver, albeit, but he's certainly into 7th.
It's cost him a lot of time, though. He's in 7th position at the moment, 1.1 seconds off the back of Rocco Justas, looking like he's very, very close to the back of Zhao Zhao's yellow flags. That's Hardy off again, just not having a good day of it whatsoever. All this fighting in and amongst the top 9 who started on the soft compounded tyres. It's just inviting guys like Lando, like Cookie Games in, who are on that set of the soft compound tyres.
Here's D. Daniels already cut in. D. Daniels down the inside into the Casio triangle, gets the car stopped. The two judgment and now going side by side. Yilbrim and D. Daniel, sorry, I'm losing my way of words. D. Daniel now on the inside line. He's got the D-Rash, surely he's got the drag down in towards turn 1. Great move again from D. Daniel, and he is through and he's into 8th position. This race is kicking off big time.
Unbelievable stuff here as the soft runners just about to close up into DRS range. The top 9 having a whale of a time on lap 19. Connor is about 0.4 of a second off the back of Montana, so I think he's trying to settle in to a little bit of a rhythm. I'd expect these guys trying to not fight as hard as they can, but I think we've got a little breather in the action here.
Thank God we've got a bit of a breather in the action. Let's just try and analyse this race then. I'm sure out on top, Montana in 2nd, Connor in 3rd. Connor's on the back now of Montana. He's got fresher tyres than the Swiss man ahead of him, then his NSX teammate as well. But M Short for XL leading the way out on top. It's a front 3 covered by a 2nd. Zhao Zhao 4th, Justas 5th, Rocco in 6th, Verstappen in 7th. The Spags just alluded to it in the comment section as well. Cookie Games is making his way through the field. He's in 11th position. Now the soft runners have now latched onto the back essentially of this big DRS train. Verstappen can try and catch back up. It's going to be basically a 12-car train for the race win. Out on track with 7 laps to go, but M Short leads the way. Montana in 2nd. Montana using a bit of overtake mode running in towards 130R there. He now comes into the Casio triangle right on the back of M Short. When is the time for Montana, and is he going to say go? As Connor has just made a really bad mistake coming out through the Casio triangle. Jojo not going to be close enough. Justas not going to be close enough either. They stay as they are, but Montana now within 2.5 tenths of the lead of the race. I think now is go time. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back.
Yep, the week off certainly hasn't dampened anyone's spirits for the racing action as Walter makes the move on Schaeffler, unexpected on the compound of tyres that he is on this fresher set of softs compared to the older mediums coming through the Dunlop curve for the leaders at the moment. They're all just a little bit too spread out at the moment to make any moves, but Montana is keeping it a 0.6 of a second to, I'm sure, if he wants to get a move in towards the first corner. I'd say about 0.4 is the gap that you do need to have where you can really pounce. But yeah, it's very tricky to overtake.
I've just seen the Division 3 stream, by the way. I hope you are tuning in, by the way, from Division 3. They haven't even started the race yet, because they've got a lobby glitch, which is so bad, and Division 2 inevitably, I think, is going to be delayed as a result. But M Short leading the way, Montana in 2nd, Connor in 3rd. We're going to be finishing early here in Japan, but M Short leading the way, Montana 2nd, Connor in 3rd. How is this race going to unfold? And what I said has came true. 12-car train for the lead of the race now out on track as Montana gets a good run coming out the Casio triangle. Use up a little bit of overtake mode to try and close up onto the back of M Short, but he's not going to be close enough to try and get this move done down in towards turn 1. But truly, desperation is going to set in very soon indeed, and if not him, it's going to be from behind, because Connor, we have already seen him try and make one move earlier on in the race on M Short. He got cut up right at the pass as a result of that move, and now Connor is right on the back of Montana, and I don't think these two are going to play that fair.
No, despite the fact that they are both part of the NSX brand, I think both of them would much prefer the win over their friendship at this point, as through the Degners, I think Connor's tyres are probably past their sell-by date in comparison to the hards, which are going to be fresher at this point. They've probably got a lot less wear on them as well. You can see Zhao Zhao right up to the back of Connor as a yellow flag through sector 1.
Toxic.
That is a half car. As Toxic off again. He hasn't got any wing damage, luckily, so it must have just been a spin. Really easy to do around that part of the circuit. Lando on the back of Yul Breen, not close enough to make a move at this point. So the DRS train really going to be helping out the soft runners at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, DRS train in operation. It's like a pacer train service to Manchester, I think, at this point. M Short leading the way from Montana in second, Connor in third, but now Justas right on the back of Jaja, running into the Casio Triangle once again for the 21st occasion out on track. M Short leads the way, Montana in second, Connor in third. Jaja gets a really good run out on Connor, and so does Montana on the back of M Short. I don't think he's going to be close enough down in towards turn 1, but I can tell you now he's going to be within a tenth of a second running in towards turn 2, and pretty much within a tenth of a second running down in towards turn 2. Rocco right on the back of Justas as well, and Campbell is now through on Kuka Games. So Campbell now through for QVR, and he's up into 11th position. Kuka Games now down into 12th. Ruta on his debut for Relentless there in 13th, of course formerly known as Sweetcram. We'll be covering him on League of Europe Formula 2 action on Monday. Myself and Michael Edwards taking you through the action as Toxic has retired it coming into the pit lane. That spin, one too many.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Toxic to end this race. It is the first retirement of the day, and I've just noticed something about the leaders. The battery usage. M Short's on 23% at the moment. Montana almost at 60%. He can use that whenever he wants. Connor's also been able to save it up in these last couple of laps. Got more than the two leaders both at the moment. 63% for the Brit, so I think he'll probably be in prime position once those two start scrapping it out. He'll try and make a bit of an audacious move, maybe try and take that one there. Don't know why the track all lights up as yellow when there's yellow flags through the first sector. It happened on the last game. Don't know why it still happens on 2020.
Well, it's called Masters for you, isn't it? Montana on the back of M Short. I'm on board with Lando, who's on the back of Yul Breen on a fresh set of softs. Those softs are going to be wearing, though, towards the end of the race, and he is going to be under pressure now from Yul Breen in behind. Speaking of under pressure, M Short has now got pressure applied by Montana, running down in towards turn 1. The Swiss man is not close enough, though, for the move. He's just warning them. That's the first shot. There's the warning shot there. He is now right on the back of him, and I've got to be honest, Montana, the more he holds back, the more he'll come into play, and I think the more chance he's actually got of winning this.
Yeah, he doesn't need to get round this time by. You can't win the lap. You can't win the race before before the lap counter has clocked 27. So I think he's going to try his hardest to just stay behind M Short, save up his overtake, then launch a full-on assault on his main championship rival. I've just noticed an X next to M Short's name. I'm hoping he doesn't lose connection in this lobby or anything of the sorts. No.
Don't believe you called it. You literally called it. That is the commentator's curse of the season right there. M Short is disconnected from the lead of the race. Let's just hope his 110 AI is up to the standard, but no, Montana is through and he's into the lead of the race. That is absolute heartbreak. Mr. Short, get your son back online right now. We want to see him try and get through the field, but now that actually turns this race on its head entirely. Connor now in the prime position to take this from Montana. We're going to have an NSX fight with Zhao Zhao and Justas also involved as well. 3 out of the top 4 now NSX based, but the Swiss man and the Brit are about to go at it. We've got 4 more laps to go. Montana leads the way, Connor in second. This race has turned on its dimension. M Short luckily has rejoined. He will take control of his car and probably fallen behind, I would say, Kuki Games when he rejoins out on track. But Connor now on the back of Montana, and you know with these two are going to be up for a right fight, but let's hope it doesn't end up the same way as the last battle did.
Yeah, Connor still yet to take a win, surprisingly, this season. He's currently 10th in the standings, and well, a win will certainly propel him up the order. M Short, he's losing positions left, right and centre. He's not been able to get back in his car at the moment. I assume
he's back in now.
He's just ahead of Cookie Games, and well, at least he's still taking away points, hopefully, but in him rejoining, we've actually lost all of our...
Jaja nearly went into the back of Connor, sorry, through the hairpin. Got very close to back end.
Oh dear, I was actually riding on board with Jaja. Was very, very close to the rear, but in M Short's rejoining, we've lost all of our intervals. So thank you so much.
The guesswork now continues here in Japan. We've got 3.5 laps to go. Just underneath that as now Montana leads the way from Connor in second. Cloud beginning to build over the circuit. I wonder if there's going to be rain afoot towards the end of the race. So as Montana leads the way, Connor though has got to be within 0.2 of a second now, 1/10.5, and in fact that grass flows up into the air of the Red Bull. It's 0.3 of a second coming across the line, and Connor, not using up any overtake mode, tries to juke with Montana running at the slipstream, but Connor is right on the back coming through turn 1, and now he is in the prime spot compared to what M Short was like before he disconnected. Connor now in the prime spot to try and take the win. Montana leads the way, Connor second, Jaja third, Justas in fourth, Rocco in fifth, Verstappen in sixth. I've got to say, Rocco has been really under the radar this race. I haven't realised him actually crop up through the field, and now he's in fifth position. He's got Verstappen trying to chase him down, but for his debut with Relentless, doing a really good job.
Yeah, he's actually improving by quite some margin on his fastest lap as well, somehow on 14 lap hold medium tyres, but you do have to remember he's got 5 seconds of time penalties to contend with.
Campbell!
Zhao Zhao.
Oh, I thought Campbell, was going to launch on Lando down into the hairpin. Take it away again, nearly.
Yeah, I was going to say that Zhao Zhao got right up to the rear once again through the hairpin on Connor. It seems like Connor's actually losing out a little bit of time to Montana. Montana's utilising a lot more of his overtake to pull away from Connor. He's using up some of his as well in tandem with the race leader. 4.5 tenths is the gap. When will he launch his attack? He might be wise to try and confirm it this lap through the Casio triangle. He's got to get this exit. He's got to absolutely nail it here. Coming off of the final corner. Doesn't seem like he's planted in comparison to Montana, but maybe it's right in towards turn number 1. He's improving on his laps as well. No, he's not going to try it. That means he's got one more opportunity on the final lap of the race to make this move stick.
Yeah, and this is the perfect crescendo to the race out on track. Connor, as I've literally said about 20 seconds ago, he's got to wait to the final lap, because if you end up in front, you're going to be under pressure from the drivers in behind, and that is smart from Connor. As long as he doesn't pick up a 3-second time penalty, I've got to be honest, he's going to win this one hand down. Out on track, Montana leading the way, 5.5 tenths per second. Connor in second. Montana just catches the grass. Connor nearly set into a bit of a half spin there as well. M Short is through on Cougar Games, who's lost it coming through the Dunlop curve. Dunlop curve catching everyone out tonight. He is another one that has run into the gravel. He's got the car going again. He's down in 17th position, and I would say he may as well come in for the fastest lap attempt, but he's not going to get that fastest lap attempt. He may as well just continue on to the end of the race. Crescendo point though being reached. Montana, Connor for the race win. Jaja and Justas have got a chance as Connor nearly sends it into a half spin coming through at Spoon, and now runs with the overtake mode, and he's going to try now an attack at Montana. 1.5 laps to go.
He is so close to the rear of Montana. You can actually see he's going to go for it into the Casio triangle.
No, he's not.
He's not. He wanted to go for it there. Montana probably backing off, actually, trying to maybe take DRS. But now onto the final lap of the race. This is what it's all been leading up to. Connor's going to have to commit everything. He's got to lay it all on the line. Can he try it in towards turn number 1? You can see he's got the run coming into the first corner.
Brilliant.
Flat out. Connor's into the lead.
Connor into the lead. Brilliant stuff from the Brit out on track, and that is precision right there. Wait until the final lap, you get handed your opportunity, and that is your opportunity handed to you on a silver platter. Connor now through, and he's into the lead of the race. I told him to wait to the final lap of the race. I think we were all telling him to wait to the final lap of the race. He's now made his move. All he's got to do now is not pick up a 3-second time penalty, and he's won this race out on track. Montana now in second, cannot land a blow in. Connor surely is just 3 kilometers away from winning this.
Oh well, calculation at his finest. I think he might be going to Oxford University after this one on a scholarship for maths, because he has calculated that to perfection.
Tell you what,
entirely out this as well.
Yeah, I was literally going to say that.
He's got 3 seconds of penalty, so I don't think he'll be fighting for any positions. Connor, he's just got one more sector to do it. It's been what a race from him.
It's been a perfect mix of precision out on track from Connor, carving his way through the field like a knife through butter, and now Connor reaches the Casio triangle for the final time. He comes around the final corner. I think D. Daniel's going side by side with Verstappen in the background, but Connor comes across the line. He finally takes his win in Liga Rib, crashes, crossing the line as a pile-up coming across the line. It's Connor who wins, Montana in second, Justas in third, and how about that? NSX 1, 2, 3.
Well, I think... What is happening? They're all stopped on track. It's all
Madness! AI, what are you doing with yourselves? Honestly. E1 and Hardy is still going around, by the way, out on track. But NSX 123, that's how you make a statement out on track. I mean, there's Connor crashing across the line. There's a 3-car pile-up down the pit wall, pretty much. But Connor has won out on track. Precision personified. I cannot fault his performance at all. Driver of the day.
He's back in France. Victory was snatched away from him, and the jaws of defeat completely clutched him. But he has now picked up his well-deserved race win. I'm just looking back at this AI pile up. There's a McLaren in there. There's an Alfa Romeo somehow. A Ferrari car. I don't know what they've all done across the line.
And Hardy coming around the final corner. Disaster race from Hardy. Comes across the line. And luckily his AI will avoid all that carnage to the right hand side of him. Hardy across the line. Division 19, Toxic, actually the only DNF out on track. Well done to everyone for getting round. Driver of the day awarded by the in-game fans. How on earth is it Lando? I think it's Connor. Definitely, surely out on track. He will get driver of the day. What a race. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. And now to the top step of the podium with one of the craziest dances I think I've ever seen all season. NSX Connor takes the win, the Red Bull out on top, and he lands himself possibly now in that championship picture.
Yeah, it's a big 25 points going back to his camp, and I do believe with that result from Montana, he is now he's picked up the championship lead. 18 points coming back to his camp. I believe I'm sure only managed 12th position. That's 1 point comfortably. He will be ahead of M Short by no fault of his own. Is unfortunate for M Short.
9 points.
9 points is separate them now. So the ball back in Montana's court after a dreadful start. He's picked it up and turned it up another gear.
Yeah, he has turned it up another gear. He might have not have won, but Connor has won out on track. It is a win for NSX. Montana in second, Justas in third. How about that for rubbing salt into the wounds? And NSX 1, 2, 3. Zhao Zhao in fourth with Verstappen in fifth. Zhao Zhao actually with a penalty. He would have finished second as a result. Verstappen in fifth, Daniel sixth, Lando seventh, Campbell in eighth, Yulbream in ninth, Ruta rounding off the top 10 with Rocco and M Shaw also picking up the points in 11th and 12th. Chapelletti, Kumbly, Neo, Name Changer, Kooky Games, Ewan, Hardy in 19, Toxic DNFing out of the race. Hardy with 27 seconds worth of penalties, 10 of that of course will be removed. Ewan picking up the fastest lap of the race. Name Changer sauna treatment really not working out for him down in 16th position. And there we are. That is the end then for Division 1. Unbelievably, we have finished about 15 minutes early.
Yeah, we get a nice little relaxation before Division 2. If it's anything like that race, I think well, Dakar and Aiden they've got their work cut out for them. But what a race! Connor undoubtedly driver of the day just from the sheer calculation of it. And I wonder how that would have all turned out if M Short didn't disconnect, unfortunately.
If he didn't disconnect, I think he would have won it. He was just in control of the race. I don't think Montana was going to land a blow-in maybe on him, but remains to be seen out on track. NSX on fire. Plenty of comments coming through there as well. The curse of living in the sticks, says Mr. Short. That's so unfortunate, but I guess it's everyone working from home and there being a demand for internet in this pandemic world that we all live in at the minute. And there we are. M. Short has just said, I think this is what you might have picked up on in the Discord. You weren't winning and you know it. Replying to Montana saying, Jim, better disconnect. M. Short would have loved an overtake that lap. Yeah, I loved your red light. No, he should have loved the red X on his name. He should have loved the red X on his name. That's what we saw.
that is a rivalry at its finest, taking shots at each other. It's not bullying each other. Those two, I reckon they're going to have a great relationship towards the end of the season. But
are you sure?
Really unfortunate. But maybe they could have one of them friendly championships. I can't really think of any to give an example of, but yeah, no, they all kind of hate each other in the end, don't they?
Yeah, I think honestly though, M Short and Montana could be building up to that rivalry that we saw with Montana and Alphatrix last season as well, and then Louis and Alphatrix the season before that, and then Montana of course just ran away with with season 2. We could ignore just that horrible dominance from Montana. But this is the League of Europe that we have come to know and love now. Division 1 certainly living up to expectations tonight. Really bad luck for M Short out on track. I'm sure he will get retribution at some point in the next 8 rounds of this championship. And from Japan, of course, we do go to, and I'm just going up on the calendar just to prove it, we go from Japan to Spain.
Yeah. I'm going to Catalonia next. Going to be an interesting race. I believe last time we came here, I think Montana ended up taking the win. That was actually our first commentary together, wasn't it?
No,
in Spain.
Montana didn't end up taking the win.
Oh yeah, that was a terrible race for him.
He finished like 16th, 17th, I think. Then, I believe it was Campbell that took the win last season, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he won Singapore that race, that season. That was his one win. I'm going to quickly have a look.
Let's have a gander.
Hang on.
Spain... Alphatrix won. Alphatrix won last season. Campbell was second, so nearly there. Campbell was second, and in third, in the end, was Spine. Who's now no longer with us, of course, in the championship. Spine finishing in third there. Montana, although we picked up the fastest lap of the race, he was outscored by the top 12 and didn't pick up that extra point. He still wrapped up the championship, though, as a result. But hopefully, Spain is going to be one of those races that, well, the drivers absolutely hate, but we love to commentate on. And if it's anything like the 24 Hours of F1 and anything like last season, you are in for an absolute treat. Division 2 and Division 5 are going to be upcoming for you later on. Division 2, I am sure, is going to be running late. Division 5 should be starting at 8:10 as normal. Just looking on board with the Division 3 lobby and just seeing where they're at in terms of their race. And I'm just trying to see that now, if I can. Division 3, safety car out halfway through the race. So actually, it could be quite close for it to start at 8:10. I would imagine it's going to be about a 8:20 start for Division 2. But, there we are. We've reached the end. Spain next week. I cannot wait. I'm sure you cannot wait at home either. For myself and Daniel Field, thank you so much for tuning in tonight to League of Europe. And just remember, whether you are a man or a woman, you are always equal in any sport. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, goodbye.